All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm excited to share this episode with you today. We've got a fun guest, and we actually have a big special announcement today, so it's going to be a fun one. I have Andy Richardson here with me. How you doing, Andy?
Hey, good, Isaac. Glad to be here
Awesome.
today.
Hey, I'm glad you're here too. Otherwise, it would just be me flying solo, and nobody likes those episodes that much. You know what I mean? So, hey, let's begin this by maybe briefly talking about how you got into engineering, what you do now, and maybe what a typical day is for you. I'd like people to get to know your background, and things of that nature.
Yeah, well, I started engineering. I'm probably like a lot of people in that I started by, being good at math, good at science, and that was really a big part of what started me in engineering. I took drafting back in the day when we did hand drafting, believe it or not, when
No
I was in
AutoCAD.
no AutoCAD. So I
Wow.
did that when I was in high school. And when it came time to figure out what I wanted to do, I considered architecture but civil engineering was the way that I felt like I was led to go into. Maybe a little push here and there because of different things, but that ended up being the direction I took and have been doing it ever since. Really have never. Uh, I've always been doing engineering since about 1998 when I started my career.
And which discipline did you go into? Like, what are you doing? What are you working on?
So right now I'm structural. I've been doing that for the majority of my career. The first job I had was a multidisciplinary type company, a small company uh, here in the low country of South Carolina. And, I tried different things out. I was able to do, it was really neat because you were able to work on a variety of projects. And I felt like I was able to use my full civil engineering degree, which I don't know that everybody's able to do that in terms of, on a one week you might do some drainage calculations, another week you might design a full water system for a small town, and then another week you might actually do some engineering for a steel building. And so I was able to do a little bit of all of them, and I saw the benefit though of going into a specialty area, and I really wanted to challenge myself, which is why I went into structural engineering, um,
Yeah.
and I felt like that was the direction I wanted to take, and I've been doing it ever since. And for the past 11 years have actually been self-employed as a structural engineer here
Cool. Now,
in the
so
town of.
tell us about what your company is. What are you doing now? You own your own company. What's the company, and what are you working on?
It's called 29E6, and that is a fun play off of the modulus of steel, modulus of
Mm,
elasticity. So
very
for uh,
creative.
for good engineer numbers people, that it's a fun thing. And we do structural engineering. That's all we do. And we're down in the low country of South Carolina. We're a small team. We have two full-time personnel here, one drafter, one engineer, and then myself. So I guess that's three. And then we have a few part-time as well. And we do a little bit of everything from commercial buildings to delegated design, connection design type things. Also, we even do some houses as well.
Mm,
So that's pretty much what we do. But we work a lot for architects and contractors as consultants for them and helping them with their engineering needs.
that's fantastic. I'm sure you're learning a lot owning your own business as well. You're
Oh, it's
probably
a
wearing just as many hats. So,
oh yeah,
but
it's definitely a learning, and it's enjoyable. But you know what's great about it is what I've recently learned a lot is some of the passions that I have for teaching the PE exam is what I enjoy about owning a company. So you get to a certain point in your career when you really have, when you first start out and you just have this desire to learn everything and grow, and then you take your PE and you want to really learn about that. And it was a really great point in my life, which is one of the reasons I love teaching the PE exam, is because you almost want to rehash that of sort in a sense and help other people do that. So that was one of the most enjoyable times. But one of the things I like about owning my own company is, and it took me a while to figure this out, but I really enjoy mentoring the newer engineers that come through and using some of the same things as far as teaching the PE to teach people how to start out as an engineer. And in my early career, I really didn't actually have a lot of that. Working for a smaller company and just the people that I worked with, I didn't feel like I was always necessarily mentored. And
Hmm.
so one of the passions I have is actually to do that in my business and everywhere I can in terms of engineering, and
Oh,
really expand and develop others
I
in this
love that.
area.
No, that's fantastic tips. I think, yeah, if you have a passion for that, that's awesome. Because I know there's so many engineers that wish they probably had a little more support when they're just starting, and that's very helpful. There was two things you mentioned just talking that maybe I want to touch on, or you could talk about a little bit more. One of them is maybe what would a tip be you would have for someone that wants to start their own engineering firm, their own company, and then the other thing I want you to touch on is tell us more about the background you have with teaching and preparing people to pass their PE exams.
Yeah, so starting your own business, I think, is a great thing to do if you have, the right mindset and and the right mentality for it. It's definitely going to be a challenge, but engineering is a challenge, and it's not for everybody, but it can be a really great career, to own your own business, whether you're a sole practitioner. And I did that. It was a different company name,
Mm-hmm.
and I did that for 8 years actually as what I call sole practitioner, meaning you work by yourself and you just get a job, you do the entire thing yourself, and whether it's drawings, invoicing, and
All of it.
calculations, of course, you do it all yourself. It became a hybrid where I started hiring out contractors to help with like certain aspects, and part-timers to help out with that. And so it evolved. And one day I realized I just need to go ahead and go, go ahead and hire some people full time. So that's what I've been doing for the past 3 years. But it's a really great career. I like it a lot. And as far as how to start out, the best thing is you need to find some people around you, just like starting out as a new engineer. You wouldn't just want to do a bunch of calculations or design without a mentor. You really need a mentor. I have a coach. I have mentors around me now. And, Michael Jordan, guess what? He wasn't the best player in basketball probably ever. There's arguments about that, I suppose. But without a coach, right? He had a coach. Tiger Woods has a coach. Tom Brady has a coach. So get a coach, get a mentor, whatever career stage you're at.
Yeah, I totally agree. Um, even running this, thing to help engineers grow, you got to have someone to help you. And so that's definitely good advice. Let's dive into that second part of the equation. What's your background with helping engineers pass the PE exam?
Yeah, so I mentioned it was probably 8, or actually it was about 11 years ago that I got into helping people pass the PE, which is actually about the same time that I started my own company. And it afforded me time to do that actually, because it's hard to do, some of these type things in the evenings when, you've got other requirements in play, as you probably know about,
Family
obviously.
life, kids.
So I was able to have a little bit more of a flex schedule that allowed you to do those things. But one of the things I was looking at is what are things that I really enjoyed over my career. And it was, in fact, I really enjoyed taking the PE. I know that sounds weird to some people perhaps, but I actually enjoyed preparing for it and studying. I learned so much, and it was a really cool time. Obviously taking the PE was nerve wracking and I was really nervous about it, but the preparation part I actually enjoyed. So thinking back about 5 or 6 years after I took it, I thought, I'd like to get into helping people out and using this as, I wanted to do something with, helping people pass the PE and
Okay.
something with that. And that was how I got into it. So I did much of what you had. This was 11 years ago. I don't think the podcast is available, but I did a podcast, I did a website, and I started some things. And I actually started working with a company most people know, PPI, now with Kaplan, but the Civil Engineering Reference Manual, which is really probably I would say probably still one of the most popular references manuals in the civil engineering industry
For
for
sure.
preparing for and passing the exam. I was able to actually teach their first live course that they had online. So I'm pretty proud of that, actually. And we were able to figure some things out in 2012 and 2011 that the technology really wasn't as robust as it is now. And so we were able to figure some things out about how to do live courses online that with a large company. So that was really what got me started. And it definitely took some learning for me because I had not taught engineering before, but it was something that we did, and I really enjoyed it after obviously getting through some of the things that we learned early on. And in fact, Isaac, you were one of my students, were you not?
Yeah. Little fun fact. Yes. Fun fact. I was one of Andy's students. Yes.
Did you think that helped you at all?
Oh yeah, of course. I always recommend taking a course. You forget everything, there's no way you're going to remember everything you remember out of school. So taking a course, I highly recommend it. You can definitely go at it on your own. There's no problem doing that, but having structure and some accountability, I think really help. But Andy, man, you're the pioneer of this online stuff. That's
Yeah,
good.
exactly. We're cutting our way through the forest of the
Could we
internet.
call you the Michael Jordan of online civil engineering or learning?
That sounds great. Let's do it.
Good deal.
So, I mean, there's obviously some great resources out there, but I think what we've learned over the years is a great resource in itself, with what you have prepared and the resources. Your website and everything is so much better than what mine was, 12 years ago. But some of the content that I had, we're able to utilize now, and that's what we're doing. But yeah, that's how I got started, and we did that for. I did the live course up until just a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and actually developed. I also, in conjunction with that, also developed some on-demand course work that is supplementary to the live, and trying to figure out the reason for that really is I've always been of the opinion, the reason for the podcast and the reason for all the content that I created was people are busy. And I was trying to figure out how can we help people who are extremely busy prepare, right? I mean, because I believe, Isaac, that the best way to prepare for the exam is to study. I mean, I don't believe actually that the videos and podcasts actually help people study the best. I believe that cracking up in the book and doing the work is the best way to study. Okay. However, I think that there is a place for the live course and there's a place for on-demand coursework. And that's what we want to provide to these students is those things, the supplementary. And I was also thinking about how can we help people that are extremely busy study in odd times, like when you're waiting for your wife or you're waiting for your husband and you're in the car and you got your iPhone with you, and can you watch a video for 15 minutes? Or if you're on the bus, can you watch a video for 20 minutes? Or it's late at night and you're exhausted. Can you do some things like that? So that was where I think the videos can really help out is during these in-between times, like a lunch break at work, or times when maybe you have an issue that you can't really figure out. You've looked at the books, you've looked at this and that, and you don't understand it enough, and you just want somebody to show you how to do it. So that's the other aspect is helping you crack the code of something that you just can't really get. And we all hit those points.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Well, I like what you've been talking about. I think this is a good time to talk about what we have teamed up and what we're offering. So Andy and I have teamed up with Civil Engineering Academy, and Andy has provided depth exam resources, complete coursework for you if you are in need of courses to help you with your depth exam. We've teamed up to offer that for you. And so if anybody is interested, we actually do have a special deal going on right now where you can get 50% off the initial price that we've got. So if you actually go to the website, civilengineeringacademy.com/depth courses, you'll be taken to our page. You can read all about the course that we're offering. The beauty of it, I think, is that we have bundled all of these review courses together into this one course offering. So if you are struggling in another area in your breadth studies, you can go hit that and study. But go check that out, civilengineeringacademy.com/depth courses. Once you check out, use the coupon code of coupon50. That'll give you 50% off for 1 year of access to the course. It comes with lots of extra goodies, including practice exams, an equation reference guide, bonus theory questions, all the modules that cover the specifications, private Facebook community for support, and lots of other good stuff. So we were excited to share that with you guys. We'll definitely be talking about it more, probably a little bit sprinkled through the interview. But go check that out, because the deal only lasts till the 21st of August, and then it goes away. And the courses will still be there. We'll still have those for sale if you're listening to this after August 21st, 2020. But if you do want to take advantage of that deal, go get it now. That's civilengineeringacademy.com/depth courses. So yeah, good stuff. Andy, tell me about, this is a fun question. What's something, a lesson learned or from a mistake made, whether that's been through study or your own business or project you've worked on? What's a story? Is there anything that you could share with our audience about a lesson learned?
Oh man, I've got many of those, but I would probably go with, it's been some years ago, and I realized the a lot of us move into project management as we move up the proverbial ladder, and we start dealing with clients and customers, right?
Yes.
So I learned the value of the phrase, the customer's always right, and dealing with the customer. And one day I got a little bit onto my high horse with one customer. This has been probably almost 15 years ago. And
wow.
I really got into it with one of our clients or customers, depending on what you want to call your clients. But I really got into it with them, and it was not good, because they ultimately,
that's never good.
Ultimately, we lost a customer that day.
Sure.
Okay. And it made me realize, you know what? Even if I don't necessarily agree with this person, I need to make sure I respect everybody and listen to their needs. Most of the time, it's just a matter of somebody wanting to make sure you understand and listen to them, even if you're right. And it doesn't really matter. You need to listen to other people. So that would be one thing that I learned. And to be fair, I still need that reminder from time to time, right? We always need that reminder. So perhaps I'll listen to this again in a couple of weeks, and it'll be a good reminder for me. But it's just a good reminder to
the customer is always right.
Yeah, listen to your customer, and let them air out their issues, because that may be all they need to do. So good marriage advice too, by the way.
I agree with that. Very good. Very good. Boy, we're giving all kinds of advice today. That's good.
There you go.
I guess last kind of things I want to cover real quick with you are just more kind of get to know you a little bit more. These are kind of just real quick questions, short answers. You can take as much time as you want, but what's a major obstacle you faced in your journey to become a civil engineer, whether that was school, PE, career, boss? What was something that stood out in your mind?
Yeah, I alluded to it earlier, and I'm very thankful for the people that gave me the opportunity all the way through my career, my first hire all the way to where I am today. And I am very thankful for those people. However, I do feel like there might have been some lack of mentorship early on. And I that was an obstacle for me. and trying to find resources was very difficult, especially when the internet was in its infancy. So that was an obstacle, if you
What do
will.
you recommend now for an engineer that may be
Well,
looking for one?
it might be that, and most of the people that are listening to this are, obviously out of school and have a job. But so if you are looking for if you're in a situation where you don't have a mentor, like maybe you're in a tough situation with your boss, there's people all over the world. We have access through the internet, et cetera. Reach out to somebody who you feel that can help you out, whether it's just answering questions about like the project management example or some specific technical examples. And I'm not even talking about the course today. I'm just saying, like, reach out to some mentors that can help you out, because it's really helpful to have that thing to lean on, that person to lean on and give you some advice. And because really it's important to ask questions and have the humility to ask the questions to other people, and not just think that you have all of the answers. So that would be one piece of advice as well. So
that's great. Here's another one. What's the best advice you've ever received, or just good advice in general? You've already shared quite a few. Is there any others?
So I guess it's kind of similar to that in terms of what I mentioned earlier. And it was actually my father-in-law.
Okay.
But he said, it doesn't really matter who's right or wrong. You just need to go ahead and say you're sorry as soon as possible. Because if you're in a fight, that is. So, and it was mostly about marriage, right? So we've talked about marriage twice now, but it kind of goes back to the customer's always right mentality. It might be a coworker, it might be your spouse, but or a friend. It doesn't, if you're not married. But the idea is have some humility in life,
Yeah.
and have some balance in your life. Don't try to, we engineers think we know it all. I mean, and we are smart. You've got to be smart to pass this exam. But the fact is, let's have some humility too, right?
Very good. Very good. I like it. Is there we've talked a lot about our course today as a resource. Maybe if we stepped outside of that, is there any books that you would recommend to engineers, whether it's leadership or engineering or education or maybe fun, that have impressed you we could share?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is continuing to learn in all aspects of your life, whether it be engineering. And I'm a learner. I love learning about engineering. I love learning about business. I love learning about spiritual and personal development aspects. So pick up some books and read, and don't just read about engineering all the time, but there's some really cool books out there. I mean, obviously in the area of the PE exam, we talked about this. The Civil Engineering Reference Manual is a great resource. One of the first books that I read on personal development was How to Win Friends and Influence People. So it's a great book on how to relate to other people. So there's a couple offhand, and
I love it. And if you need that book, go use our link, civilengineeringacademy.com/PPI. We got a discount code CIVAC, and you'll get 15% off any book you get at PPI. So go use that if you're going to go check and get the CERM. They changed the title of the CERM. I don't know why. When Kaplan took over, do we call it the PERM now? I don't know. It's called like the PE Civil Reference Manual. Anyway.
It'll always be the CERM in my heart now.
Yes. It will. Well, good deal. Well, we'll end with this. If you had all the resources in the world or all the knowledge, what's something you would like to be a part of in the world of civil engineering?
Yeah, I alluded to it earlier. It's just how can we provide more development and mentorship to this next younger generation, if you will, of engineers that are coming through, whether it be in their career education and development or what we're doing right here, which is the PE exam. So that's what I would like to be a part of and known for. And hopefully I'm a part of now.
Great. I love it. Thanks, Andy. So guys, go take advantage of this sweet deal. We got a sweet deal for you. If you need help with your depth exam, go get the courses. Andy and I teamed up to share with you. Again, the website, civilengineeringacademy.com/depth courses, and it'll link you to the page. Go check it out. Use the coupon code of coupon50. You'll get 50% off right now. That ends August 21st. It's still a good deal if you're listening to this after that. So definitely go check it out. So Andy, thanks for jumping on the show. I really appreciate it. What's the best way to reach you if people want to reach out to you and talk to you? They had questions.
Yeah, if you have anything you want to reach out to me, I would say LinkedIn is where I really like to go for connecting with people. So
okay.
Link up with me on LinkedIn. I guess, is that the right way to say that?
I guess that's how you say that. Yeah.
So that's really how I like to hook up with people. So go over there, find me, and if you like something I've written, like it. But yeah, thanks again, Isaac, for having me on today. And I like what you're doing at the Civil Engineering Academy, and glad to be a part of it today.
Perfect. Well, we're excited. So thanks again. And I guess we'll see you around. Thanks,
all right,
Andy.
Take care.